Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a live fantasy football draft. I am super pumped up about this. I am on the clock right now, so let me share my screen. All right, so on the clock, Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill is available. Here I am picking at number 5. I like the fact that Breece Hall's fallen. I'm going to go ahead and take Breece Hall here. All right, so next time I draft, I'm probably going to, let's see. I'm on the clock in 10 picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the area that I'm looking at. Let me cue some running backs here. I love. Now, just in case some of these guys up here fall, my philosophy here is to go running back. When you look at the amount of wide receivers in the draft, man, you can get wide receivers in the 3rd, 4th round. I'm not sweating wide receivers. I'm really not. Now, I kind of like the spot picking at 5. It's not a bad pick in my opinion. So I want to have 2 running backs that I feel good about every single week. I also think there's a couple upside to some receivers on the board. Well, let's see. Let's see how it falls. So we can look at let's see. Let's look at the pick history. So CMC, Amara St. Brown, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill. I just think you got to go with Breece Hall there at 5. A lot of drafts have him going as early as 2 or 3. Going wide receiver here in the first round, like I get it, Tyreek Hill. If you're sitting there at 6 and Tyreek Hill's available, your first pick is always going to be the best available. So obviously Justin Jefferson falling a little bit this year because of his quarterback situation, but he's still one of the best in the league. So I am on the clock in 9 picks. Ja'Marr Chase, obviously having that holdout right now. Ja'Marr Chase is going to get the contract done. There's 0% chance that Ja'Marr Chase isn't on the field week 1. So his ADP drops a little bit just because of that situation. I mean, having him next to Joe Burrow, and there he goes, he gets picked right there. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, I got to move this over a little bit to see full scale. All right. So Tyreek Hill. Okay, so here's the order, the activity. Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb. I picked Breece Hall 5, and then Tyreek Hill and Ja'Marr Chase come off the board. So I'm on the clock in 8 picks, 2, 4, 6, 8. I expect one of these guys to be available. And like I said, I like to go running back. There's just a lot of wide receiver value later in the draft. Also got to look out for those bye weeks. They'll catch up to you. Don't want to draft 2, 3, 4 players that are all having the same bye week, which of course you guys all know. All right, so Ja'Marr Chase off the board. Man, these guys are taking forever. I don't even think this guy's drafting. So Justin Jefferson will be auto-drafted to Dalton Veely. And now Ubaldo on the board with pick 9. And Jonathan Taylor is, let's see if he's actually going to go. He's a Colts fan, so I have a hard time thinking he's not going Jonathan Taylor here. It is interesting. You usually don't get to find out till around the 3rd round which player is going to fall. The first round and even early in the second, it just kind of falls in order, to be honest. If you're playing with people that kind of have an idea what they're doing. So some people that I'm excited about this year that maybe are available a little bit later. I like, let's see, how much later is this? For Jacksonville, yeah, so love Xavier Worthy this year. We'll see if he can become available. I know David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, the 2 backfield doesn't scare me because we saw it last year, and they both provided a lot of fantasy value. So I'm not running from the 2 running back. And Jonathan Taylor comes off the board right there, and we are now picking in 6 picks. So we'll see how this goes. We know we got 1, 2, 3, 4 auto picks coming. 1, 2, 3, 4 auto picks. So if 1, 2, 3, it depends who he picks. AJ Brown. Fuck. So now it's just gonna fucking auto select. 1, 2, 3. Damn. Yeah, there's no chance. Barkley off the board. Puka Nacua. And there's Gibbs. And then Kyron. I really hate these fucking auto drafts. Ruining the fucking draft. Honestly, I think I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco here. But Travis Etienne, let's look. These are projected fantasy points, but let's see. So far, I got Breece Hall. He's got a week 12 bye week. Travis Etienne also has a week 12 bye week. So I'm leaning towards Isaiah Pacheco. You know who I think could have a monster year that's being undervalued here, though, is Derrick Henry. They send both of their running backs out, but Travis Etienne led the NFL in touchdowns last year. He's going to find the end zone. I'm actually going to go with Etienne here, but I hate the bye week situation. You know what? I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. No. Fuck. Isaiah Pacheco or Derrick Henry. Make a decision. I'm going to go with Pacheco just because of the week 12 bye. Now, I would have loved to go with Travis Etienne, but I don't need both of my starting running backs out on the same week, and it's a guaranteed loss. All right, so I'm picking next in 7 picks. So, you know what? None of these guys are auto-drafting, so I think there's a good chance I could still get somebody now. I'm looking at potentially... I don't want to say it because there are 4 people watching this stream that haven't identified themselves in the comments. So for all I know, these are my own people I'm playing against. So if you're watching right now, identify yourself in the comments, and I'll give a little more information away. 5 people watching. Identify yourself. Let me know that you're not the people I'm drafting against. Okay, so we see Alvin Kamara going off the board. Really don't like that pick. Kamara has been on a decline for multiple years in a row, but it helps me out. So he is picked second round with the 8th pick, and it'll be interesting to see what they do here because now there's 6 picks. We have who is Jake Elliott on the clock right now, and he drafts Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry is going to be gone, which is fine by me. It is fine by me. Some other receivers that I'm looking at. I already got my 2 running backs right now, so honestly, I'm about to say fuck the rankings. I'm gonna do this my way. Like if you really believe in some later wide receivers on the board, I mean, for instance, I'll give you an example. Xavier Worthy, of course, is already queued. I love Brian Thomas Jr. this year. Jonathan Brooks is in a similar situation as Nick Chubb. They're not coming back till later. Same with TJ Hawkinson, Brock Bowers, of course. But not sure what the situation is going to be with Gardner Minshew. How good is... Same thing with Davante Adams. I mean, let's be real. So let's see. I'm on the clock in 3 picks. Let's see how this falls here. 2 picks. Jalen Hurts drafted. Okay. I get it. Like I said, you can get some really, really good wide receivers a little bit later. And one of the best... Let's see. I'm on the clock in 2 picks. Now, let's see what happens here with the next 2 picks, because this is going to change my decision drastically. If depending on what happens, if Olave or Adams is picked, I'm going to go a different route. If they're not picked, I think Davante Adams is fringe. Like, he's just so good that he's going to find a way to get you fantasy value. And actually, Gardner Minshew is an upgrade of what they had last year. And I had Davante Adams last year, and he was good. He was. Chris Olave also just really, really good. Fucking Davante Adams gets picked right before. All right. So I got 1 minute and 17 seconds to make a decision. See, I love Nico Collins, but adding Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell's good. I'm going to do something very, very controversial here, probably. Because my next pick, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Watch. Josh Allen. I normally would never do that, but like I said, a lot of good receiver value later in this draft. There's about 3 quarterbacks that are different, and it's not Mahomes. It's Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. They're in a tier of their own when it comes to fantasy football. I mean, Josh Allen had a 55-yard rushing touchdown in the playoffs. Like, he's different. So he's on the board staring me in the face. this is when I would pick him, right? You're in the 4th round. Any earlier is a problem. And to be real, if somebody else would have drafted him, I would have pivoted and I wouldn't have addressed the quarterback until the 7th round. So those 2 quarterbacks in the 4th round, they're worth it. But if you don't get those 2 quarterbacks, you shouldn't even be drafting a quarterback until way later. Okay. So I'm very comfortable with the way this is going so far. Let's see if there's any contact. It's probably all going on in the let's see. I'm trying a different strategy this year. I always end up with a shit quarterback. Somebody said QBs already, always one guy. Yeah, there is always one guy. I mean, we're all right. Here we are. Now I'm drafting Sam Laporta. Boom. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. That is exactly what I wanted. I got the best quarterback in fantasy, the best tight end in fantasy, and I got 2 great running backs. So what is left? Okay, I have to get some wide receivers. Now, I'm not worried about the wide receivers. I'm really not. There's a lot of very good wide receivers this year. A lot. So as far as I'm concerned, there's like tight ends, small pool of tight ends. Like you miss out on your tight ends, you're going to be on that waiver wire all season offering trades that no one's going to take. You just don't want to be that guy that doesn't have their tight end situation figured out. I had Sam Laporta last year, so there's a soft spot in my heart for him, but last year he was the best tight end in football, and he was a rookie. Now imagine what he's going to do in year 2. Now, we also have that flex position, which could go to a running back or wide receiver, depending on who is available next time I pick. We could go multiple directions with that right now. I'll be on the clock in 6 picks. So, yeah, there's a wide receiver. There's 2 wide receivers that I am eyeing right now, and I have to come to terms with I'm only going to be able to get one of them. So, which one do you want? I think I know. So let's see how this continues to fall here. And you got to keep in mind and I'll say it after I draft this player, just in case I got some people in my league watching me draft right now. Which I know I do. I know there's at least one person watching. State your name. Present yourself. Stefon Diggs gets picked up. Not a bad pick. I mean, the upside is definitely there. You're in round 5. So here we are on the pick in 5 picks. Let's see how this goes. I put myself in a good situation. I'll tell you why. Because I'm on the clock in 5 picks, and there are 3 wide receivers that I would love to have. So the chances of all 3 of them being picked up, oh, yes. And now they're even slimmer. Okay. Come on. Let me get this dude. I'll fucking win the draft if I get this guy. Now, I'm not going to get him. I know that he's going to pick him. Come on. This is the part of fantasy that crushes me. Sitting here waiting if the guy, because once you see, yes! George Kittle off the board. You're getting people scrambling for their tight ends now. Here we go. Now, if you didn't get your tight end at this point, you better hope Brock Bowers works out. You better hope Kyle Pitts is going to have that big year. But like hope in one hand, shit in the other. We're not doing that over here. I'm on the clock in 2 picks. Feeling really good right now about the way this board is falling. See, this is when you win your draft. The first and second rounds go almost exactly the way you would think they would go. This is when you win your draft. It's strategy, and it's the position you put yourself into. Now, imagine if you were at this point in the draft. Guys, this is a learning moment. Imagine being at this point in the draft and you haven't addressed one of your running back positions. Just think about that for a second. Now, imagine you're at this point in the draft and you haven't addressed your quarterback or wide receiver position. You're Gucci. There's no issues with that. So that is why I go running back, and that's why I have no problem, passing up a Tyreek Hill, even though he was available when I was on the clock. Zay Flowers comes off the board. I'm on the clock in one pick. Yes. And now we can talk about it. Jalen Waddle. What a fucking pick. Now, listen, Jalen Waddle is in one of the best offenses in the NFL. Mike McDaniel, who just signed a 4-year extension, gets him the ball. He could lead the wide receiver in receiving yards any given year, and he just got paid a 4-year deal. This is a number, 4 overall pick in the draft just 3 years ago. And now also the insurance policy. If anything happens to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle is the whole offense. And even when Tyreek Hill is in the game, Jalen Waddle is a weekly starter. He's a start and forget for the season. There's never a moment you take him out of the game. So we have a great starting wide receiver. We have 2 great running backs. We have Josh Allen, and we have our tight end. We have put ourselves in a great situation. Now, some other players that I'm really high about, if you can follow the way I'm doing this, is I'm talking more about the players after I draft them, just because I know that there might be some people in my league watching, and I don't want to encourage them to draft somebody that I'm going to draft. So, especially considering I won our first championship and my opinion matters to them. Now, here we go. Chris Godwin, Mark Andrews, off the board. T. Higgins. What is the best wide receiver 2 in the league until last year. And you might be going, yeah, last year. We overreact, right? There's a greater sample size of T. Higgins being great. Now, the combination of T. Higgins losing his quarterback, which hurts any wide receiver, and dealing with injuries last year pretty much derailed his season. He is fully healthy, and more importantly, the Bengals decided not to pay him this year, which means that he is on a contract season. He is going to go out and play his best season with the Bengals this year because his whole career depends on it. And like I said, I get what happened last year, but you don't want to overreact to it. Him being this low is an overreaction, okay? The only reason I didn't draft him higher is because I knew he was going to fall down the board, and there's no sense in drafting somebody, even if he's worthy of it, if he's going to be available later. I love the 2 wide receivers that I have on this team. I love my 2 running backs. Tight end and quarterback are looking really good right now. So this is a really good situation. And now we get to the parts of the draft where you really start to win these things. So one of the tight ends that I think is going to have perhaps the most receiving yards in the league is still on the board. I will pick him with my next pick. You might say, why do you don't need 2 tight ends? If you could have 2 tight ends that are top 10, okay, you have insurance in case somebody goes down with an injuries, and let's be real, tight ends get dinged up just like every other position. But more importantly, if there's another team that didn't get their tight end window figured out and they're desperate, and you have somebody that's putting up top 5 numbers every single week, guess what? If for some reason Jalen Waddle is not doing great, but he's doing okay, you can package that second tight end with Jalen Waddle and go ahead and get a Tyreek Hill, right? Because it's okay, you do the math. Okay, I'm replacing Tyreek Hill with Jalen Waddle, so I'm losing, 7 points, but the new tight end that I'm going to be getting is going to make me 10 points. I'm plus 3. So there is a reason to do a move like that, and it really just depends on having the foresight to know the kind of season these guys are going to have. So I'm on the clock in 5 picks. I don't love James Conner this year. I don't. I do love a running back that's on the board here, but I'm going to make a people watching are going to think it's a reach. I don't care. I do not care. And we saw DeAndre Swift just got drafted. CJ Stroud just got drafted. I know Rick drafted CJ Stroud and the Texans play the Bears week 2. So that's going to be fun to watch him. Yes, no, yes, no. All right, so here we go. On the clock in 5 picks. George Pickens right now is the best player available, according to ESPN Fantasy. We do have still good quarterbacks on the board in Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow. So, like, if you didn't pick your quarterback until this point and you could land a Joe Burrow, you got to be feeling pretty good about that. But Joe Burrow's not going to get you the kind of points that Josh Allen is. Like, honestly, getting Josh Allen for me is a home run. It is. And I've never drafted my quarterback that early because I've always missed the wave of the first 2. It was never justified. This year, God damn it, Dalton Kincaid just came off the board. That was my next pick. So I need to pivot, and I need to pivot fast. I think I know where I'm going with my next pick. Now, let me look. Okay, here's my roster. I didn't even see it right here. Okay, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta, Josh Allen. This is a fucking good roster. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something really, really smart with our next pick. Tank Dell, Amari Cooper. Like I said, wide receivers, a lot of good wide receiver talent on the board. George Pickens comes off the board. That's fine. Trust me, Russell Wilson is not going to be putting up big numbers. So I'm sorry, but George Pickens is a bad pick this year. Great wide receiver, bad situation. Okay, so I'm on the clock in 2 picks. I know exactly where I want to go with my next pick, which is a good feeling. I'm just hoping that this isn't a reach, but I don't think it is. All right, Deontay Johnson comes off the board. Deontay Johnson's off the board. Clock, and I'm going to be drafting David Montgomery. David Montgomery is a fucking stud. And on top of that, this is the insurance I'm talking about. Let's say Jahmyr Gibbs goes down with an injury. David Montgomery is now the starting running back in that offense. Somebody that's already, last year, I told you earlier, I was like, it doesn't scare me. It just doesn't. The fact that there's two running backs in Detroit. It worked last year. That's anytime you go down the board and pick somebody, people are going to be like, oh, you reached. I'm sorry, but this is not going to be the way it goes. This is everyone's best guess. David Montgomery is somebody that you want on your team. He is the pass catching monster. He gets touchdowns look at his numbers from last year. Week in and week out, 15 to 20 points. Now, one injury from Jahmyr Gibbs from being a freaking stud. And now here we are on the clock. You got Javonte Williams and Courtland Sutton. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fade Broncos players right now. And I'm going to draft somebody I think is going to have a ton of upside this year in Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy was drafted to be the Chiefs' new guy. He's a first-round draft pick. The Chiefs traded up to get him. He broke the combine record for the fastest 40-yard dash, and it's Andy Reid. He's going to find a way to get him involved. This is a player that is on my bench, right? So I don't need him to come out and be amazing right away. But in the chance that he does pick up this offense really quick and he is putting 20 points a game, I can flex him. But right now, I love flexing David Montgomery. Now let's see what the fantasy pick is saying. Took Zay early. Fuck. Damn, I really wanted Higgins. That's who I got. Fuck it. Quarterback. Fuck. Took too long to decide. It auto picked. It wasn't a bad auto pick. I'm surprised Dalton Kincaid lasted. Yeah. I really wanted Dalton Kincaid myself. So well done. I'm on the clock in 6 picks. So let's take a look at this. All right. We got 1, 2, 3 wide receivers. We got 3 running backs. So I would say right now we're having a very balanced draft. So now it's like, okay, well, who's the best available? The Packers situation is interesting because they have so much. They're spreading the ball out so much, but I still think there's a couple great options here. So I'm not handcuffed to picking any particular position right now. I do have the freedom to kind of do what I want with this pick. So I'm inclined to draft Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed is really going to maybe make a big, like they say, okay, Green Bay doesn't have a wide receiver 1 yet. That's the thing. I do see somebody emerging in this offense, but anyway, Jordan Love's going to have an MVP type season. It would be crazy to not draft one of his receivers with the upside being there. So there's a couple wide receivers that I'm going to probably be drafting now. Some young guys. I mean, they're all going to be young guys. Let's be real. I already drafted a rookie, so. All right, so Christian Watson comes off the board because someone's listening. All right, Christian Watson off the board. All right, so I got 3 picks. 3 picks. Courtland Sutton is the wide receiver 1 in Denver. I mean, if you can land a wide receiver 1 in the 9th round, that's a pretty good deal. And let's see, last year, 2023 had 59 receptions, 13. He just wasn't fantasy worthy, but of course, Russell Wilson was the quarterback, so that kind of derailed a lot of things for us. Wow, we saw a defense come off the board. We're going defense already. I'm on the clock in 1 pick. And let's see. I don't want to get too excited. Yes. Okay, Jayden Reed. Easy. Now, Jayden Reed was a rookie last year, and he didn't really get going to the end of the year. But what if I told you that Jayden Reed had at least 15 fantasy points in his final 7 games, which happened to be the exact moment that the Green Bay Packers offense figured it out? Jayden Reed ends up playing a huge role in this offense. Oh, and I'm on the clock. Okay. Now, let's see. Ladd McConkey. I like Ladd McConkey. I do. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 for a team that has Justin Herbert. I could go a different route and get some other guys, but at this point in the draft, I think they'll be available later. So the thing is, it's like it's either him or him. I'm I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to draft Brian Thomas Jr., who is somebody I have been eyeing all offseason. And it's somebody that I think is going to have a big year. There's a reason they got rid of Calvin Ridley and drafted him. I mean, this is the part of the draft where you can kind of take a chance on some of these guys that you believe in. And I think the upside of him being flexed on a weekly basis is there. So, I mean, you're in the 11th round and you got that kind of upside. There's no harm, no foul here. My QBs and wide receivers all have the same bye week. I need some variety. Look, this is what I was just talking about. Not getting into that situation, right? That's why you have to look at it. There was a moment earlier in the draft where I was going to draft, I believe it was Derrick Henry, but he had the same bye week as Breece Hall. And I was like, yeah, let's not do that. I mean, we already have 3 players with a week 12 bye week, 2 players with a week 6. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even do mine diverse enough. But there's 2 ways to look at it. Okay, one way to look at it is, okay, you might lose that 1 or 2 games, right? Week 12, week 6 might be a hard week for me, but then you don't have to worry about the bye week for the rest of the season. So, I mean, it is what it is. I try not to get too many players, but 3 with the same bye is kind of the threshold here. That's my limit. And I'm on the clock in 5 picks. And I think I know where I'm going with my next pick. Yeah. That's where I'm going. If I can. Let me see really quick. I got 4 picks. Yeah. Keon Coleman comes off the board. I'm on the clock in 4 picks. Got the fantasy chat going hard. Ladd McConkey comes off the board here. And let me get back to where I wanted to be. All right, 3 picks, and I'm drafting. Okay. I love this. Come on, please. I am on the clock in 2 picks. I just need 2 picks to go by. I'm really worried this guy's going to get drafted. Oh. Okay. Come on, 1 more. 2 picks. No, 2 picks. Come on. Woo! Come on. Come on. I'll tell you in 2 picks who I'm going for. I just need to wait. Need to wait. And I need to have my pivot decision in mind in case it doesn't work out. All right, 59 seconds. Come on. It's all good. It's all good. I don't need this. I just really badly want this player. And perhaps, I mean, the reason I didn't draft him earlier is because I said he would be available when I pick next. And it's a risk. But you get to this point and you're like, oh, God, is he going to be available? Well, it pays off to be patient. That's all I'll say. It pays to be patient. And 13 seconds left with the first pick. If this guy doesn't, Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson was picked. One more pick. One more pick. Come on. Yes! Yes! Jonathan Brooks. Let's go. Dude, that is a huge, huge pick. Okay, first off, he's the best running back in this year's draft. He's a 3-down back, and he's supposed to be a league winner. The reason that he's at this point in the draft is because he's coming back from an ACL, but he's already recovered from it. They put him on the non-football list, which means he has to sit out the first 4 games of the season. When he comes back, he is a 4-down back. Now I'm on the clock again. Okay. And damn it, that was who I wanted. There was a guy I wanted. Okay, I got a minute 18 seconds. So let's see. When is let me see. He's gonna be out for most of the season. I think I could get that player a little bit later. When is Nick Chubb? I just want to know when he's coming back, and I'm not sure when he's coming back. Of course, when he does recover, he'll be good, but I'm not sure. The other guy is Hawkinson. He's going to miss the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. I'm going to get some tight end insurance here. Wait a minute. When's Dallas Goedert? I mean, Kellen Moore, the new offense coordinator, he loves to get the tight ends involved. I'm going to draft Dallas Goedert here. I love that. I got somebody that was, there's no way that he was going to be available later. He was going to get drafted anyway. So if anything happens to Laporta, I feel good that Dallas Goedert is going to be on my squad. And I love that he has the same bye week as Laporta. Actually, I fucking hate that. But he's an insurance policy, so hopefully I don't need him. If anything, he comes back. He's top 5 tight end in the NFL. He's been top 5 every year since he was a rookie. So the only reason he's down here is because the injury he sustained, like Dallas Goedert. But Goddard's going to be ready to go. TJ Hawkinson, he got his injury in November, so I wanted to draft him, but I think he's not going to be as available, and the quarterback situation's much less favorable than the situation Dallas Goedert's in. So love that pick. Walking on the fighting side of me. All right. So we got 4 picks left in this draft. Who is going Who is not going to be available on waivers? Now, I might do something. You know what? Let's take a look at this. I got a running back, or I got 3 running backs, okay? That should be set and forget for the year. I think it's time. All positions. Okay. I would like to get one more running back, and I know who it's going to be, but I'm just hoping that when I come around, I can get my defense. We haven't seen a run on defenses yet, but when it happens, it's going to happen quick. So I just want to get a little bit ahead of that curve and get a defense that I can feel really good about every single week. I'm on the clock in 3 picks. I already know where I'm going with my pick. It is another young player, but it's a young player that I've been very high on all season. We'll see if I am fortunate enough to land him. "15 seconds left. 15 seconds left. Darnell Mooney comes off the board for Atlanta. 2 picks. Let it be him. Let me get my guy. I know who I want. 2 more picks. Am I gonna get him? Woo! 45 seconds left. I know this guy is looking right now, looking like a hawk. He's like, gosh, who do I want? Who do I want? Who does Kyle want? That's what he's wondering. Let me draft him. That's why I won't say who him is, but I'm telling you, this guy is him that I'm about to draft. He is him. Mm, mm, mm. 9 seconds. What are you gonna? Fuck! He got him. He knew. He knew that was my guy. Okay, I'm on the clock. Here we are in the 12th round. Okay. This is the upside right here. I'm going to draft Nick Chubb here. Now, if and when he gets healthy, with a combination of if or when one of my running backs gets injured for the season, I'm not desperate for him to play, but he is there, and I think if there is, I would need 2 injuries to happen for him to play. So, just good of a player, too good of a player, top 5 running back in the league, and I'm on the clock in 6 picks, and we're gonna have 4 auto drafts here, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like I am going to get what I wanted. I'm going to get ahead of that curve on the other side of the ball. All right. So far, my team: Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed, Brian Thomas Jr., Jonathan Brooks, Dallas Goedert and Nick Chubb. This beat is very vital. I'm taking the Browns defense. Top 10 fantasy defenses this year. The consensus here is that it's the Browns. In a pass-heavy league, the Browns rolled out one of the best passing defenses in the modern game. Cleveland was on a historic pace, allowing 163 passing yards per game through 11 weeks, which would have been the lowest mark since Kansas City did it in 1988. The Browns still finished with 185 yards allowed per game, only the third best total since 2010. Cleveland brings back the overwhelming majority of the elite defense, putting them in prime position to be the leading defense special teams scorer in fantasy football. Love the pick. Love the pick. Throw in the Browns defense, another position. So what's cool about this is there's a lot of scenarios where you're dropping and adding fantasy defenses throughout the season. We get to avoid that entire situation right there. Okay, so now we have 2 picks left. I am picking in 8 picks. And let's see if I have the fortune to get my final pick. So far, I love my team. I got to say, there's no worse feeling than drafting a team and then you look at it at the end and you're like, I don't even like them. I love this squad. And that's what this is. This is a squad. '49ers defense gets picked. So I start the run on defenses. I initiate it. Browns, 49ers, now the Steelers defense. Look what I did. Now, what's really interesting about this is by starting the run on defenses, I also think about all the players that are available. Now all those players are still available because everyone's busy picking defenses. It's reverse psychology. Like, what is he talking about? Ravens defense. Defense. All right. Everyone's going for the defense. I'm on the clock in 4 picks now. 4 picks. When did... Let's see. Harrison Butker gets picked. And 2 more picks to go. I was hoping that I would initiate that. All right, 3 picks. Adam Thielen. Somebody picked Adam Thielen. I can't believe that. Damn it, that was my kicker. And he knew it too. He's watching. Cheater. All right. Now I'm on the clock. Okay. Honestly, because of the way the kicker thing just happened, I don't really care about taking a kicker now, because now it's like I'll take any kicker. So I want to get the player on the board that I think has the most upside here. I like Jalen Wright, but I don't love the situation that he's in. Curtis Samuel, that's a good pick, but let's see. Pat Freiermuth, good tight end available. Jalen Polk, I like. I got 30 seconds. I'm going to get a backup quarterback. I'm going to have Trevor Lawrence as my backup quarterback. We got Nash in the chat. What's up, Nash? And now people taking mediocre defenses, the Dolphins, Saints, Jags, Bengals. I'm so glad that at least I got to initiate the run on defenses by taking the Browns defense. That was a great move. Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, and the Browns defense. Now, who's which kicker is going to get the most points? We go with Jake Moody, or how about Dicker the kicker, who just signed a massive deal? Let's go with Dicker the kicker. Boom. Your roster is full. I've completed the draft. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our fantasy football draft. And let's take a look at this draft. We got 1 minute and 25 seconds for the last person to make his pick. Demario Douglas comes up the board, and Xavier Legette, whatever. Love him. I had him queued, but ultimately decided to take Trevor Lawrence in the event that my quarterback goes down, or in the event that Trevor Lawrence, gosh, again with the week 12 bye. Could I get any more unlucky with that? But overall, Trevor Lawrence is a damn good quarterback, and I like having him as a backup. And here it is. Let me zoom in here. This is my draft in order. So we went running back, and then we got a star quarterback in Josh Allen. Then we went to tight end and avoided that monstrous cycle of not having a tight end. Then we went wide receiver with T. Higgins and Jalen Waddle, two wide receivers that I think are due for big years, and two receivers I think were way too low. David Montgomery. Now, it would be disrespectful to say he's insurance in case Jahmyr Gibbs goes down, because in his own right, he is going to see the field a lot, just like last year. We saw the Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, he likes to use David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and normally they take a whole series, and then David Montgomery comes in for a whole series, then Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery is a pass catching. But if Jahmyr Gibbs does go down, of course, he's going to turn into a top 5 running back upside. But he is going to be top 15 running back week in and week out. And to flex somebody like that is pretty good. Xavier Worthy, the tight end, or the wide receiver that the Chiefs drafted with their first round pick, a real speedster who is the first replacement or attempt to replace Tyreek Hill. They do have Hollywood Brown, who was just ruled out week 1. He's dealing with injuries, and we'll see how that goes, but he has massive upside. And then we kind of went young here. So Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie out of LSU with the Jaguars' first-round pick, think he's due for a big year. Jaden Reed, like I said, the Packers, they say they don't have a wide receiver 1. Well, it doesn't really matter. All you need to know is the final 7 weeks of the Packers season, Jayden Reed had 15 or more fantasy points. The moment Green Bay figured out who they were and got an identity, Jayden Reed was a centerpiece in that. And I think Jordan Love he's going to start the season where he left off. And I think Jayden Reed is a steal here. Jonathan Brooks, the best running back in this year's draft. Sure, he's coming back from an injury. We don't need him to start. He's on the bench. But when he does come into the game, a lot of people say he could be a fantasy winner this year. He's a 3-down back. It's not like what's going on in Detroit. He is going to be on the field for 100% of the Panthers' snaps. So he's also very good. So he's going to find the end zone. And that receiving ability in a PPR league is huge. I love having Jonathan Brooks just kind of quietly recovering on my bench. In some cases, I might have a hard decision to make on whether to start him or not. And that'll probably be dependent on the opponent that week. If the Panthers are playing the Browns, maybe you sit him. But I love having that problem. Dallas Goedert, I think the Eagles bounce back to bring in Kellen Moore to be the offensive coordinator. If anything happens to Laporta, I don't want to have to hit the waiver wire looking for a tight end that you just know is not going to cut it. So love the pick there of Dallas Goedert. Nick Chubb. Now, like I said, many things would have to go wrong for Nick Chubb to start. But if he does come back from his injury and he is the same old Nick Chubb that we have known for the last 7 years, then it's going to be hard not to flex him. My thinking is I'm not going to need to do anything with Nick Chubb all season, but it's nice to have him there in case. Then we went with the best defense in football, the Browns defense. Not much to say about that. You guys know the Browns have the best defense. And then I was going to draft Aubrey, the Dallas Cowboys kicker, here, but he was picked 1 pick before I was on the clock. So I decided if I can't get Aubrey, then I don't really care about the kicker that much. So I got a backup quarterback in case something happens to Josh Allen. And then, of course, I draft Cameron Dicker, who signed a 4-year deal with the Chargers yesterday. He's never missed between 30 and 45 yards. He's 75% of field goals over 50. And with Jim Harbaugh there and the running the football, I expect the Chargers to be able to move the ball a lot, but not necessarily get touchdowns, which means 3 points every field goal. So I like this team a lot. I feel really good about it going into the season. And Rick says, damn, good luck, I guess, Kyle. That lineup is pretty trash, but good try. And I love this squad. Really do. Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, and ex-Bear. You're calling your own player trash? Browns defense, Cameron Dicker, Xavier Worthy, Jayden Reed, Brian Thomas Jr., Jonathan Brooks, Dallas Goedert, Nick Chubb, and Trevor Lawrence. And, of course, we can move players to IR. I wonder if I could move Nick Chubb to IR right now. No, I can't. I guess they have to get injured during the season. I'm not sure how that works. But overall, love this team. Week 1, let's see. Who am I playing week 1? I am playing Chew You Out, and he's favored 125.9, and I'm favored by 0.1 point. Joe Burrow, Christian McCaffrey, Rashad White, Marvin Harrison Jr., DJ Moore, Dalton Kincaid, Devon Achane, Ravens defense, Harrison Butker. So should be a close. I like my. By looking at another team, you can really be like, no, I like my team, right? I really do like my team. I wouldn't trade my team for that team. I haven't looked at all the other ones together, but let's do it. We got Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Amara St. Brown, Stephon Diggs, George Kittle, George Pickens. Too many Georges. No. I don't like George Pickens this year. Najee Harris has been disappointing. As you can see, he's projected 12 points. Like, your running back can't be projected 12 points. He just can't. But he must have, if I had to guess, he drafted Amara St. Brown with the first pick. Then he got Derrick Henry. And then he probably drafted Jalen Hurts. So here we go. Jordan Love, Joe Mixon. And I'm not looking at the names. So this is unbiased opinions here. I'll rank each team. So Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Amara St. Brown. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because he does have a couple positions that are like bona fide stars. Amara St. Brown, Jalen Hurts. George Kittle, of course, is solid. Not quite as good as some. I mean, the thing is fantasy is different than reality. So, like, George Kittle is an all-around pure tight end, right? He's an old-school tight end. He can chip. He can block. He's very important in the run game. Those are all things that don't really matter in fantasy. Travis Kelce can't block. Look at his blocking grade on PFF. It's like a 52%. I mean, it's awful. But he's a receiver, and he's going to get touchdowns and receptions. So when you're saying who's the best tight end in football, you say, well, George Kittle and Travis Kelce are neck and neck. But when it comes to fantasy, it's there's a huge gap right there. So George Kittle, I'm not saying he's not like a week in and week out starter. I'm just not crazy about it. Sam Laporta, even Dalton Kincaid, Travis Kelce, all guys I would put over Kittle. And so we talked about George Pickens, the issue I have there. So, yeah, I'll give that team, I'll say 6.5 out of 10. And let's go. I wonder if I can actually go to, I want to see even the bench, because the bench matters. The bench matters. I'll just do starters for now, okay? Jordan Love, Joe Mixon, Zamir White. Zamir White, what happened? Zamir White is your starting running back. I don't love that. AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, awesome, right? Great. Brock Bowers, great upside. Brandon Ayuk flexed, awesome. Chiefs defense and Chicago's kicker. Honestly, good squad. Good squad. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. The only reason is because they're relying on Zamir White to be a week in and week out starting running back, and Joe Mixon's best days, I think, are behind him. And I think Cam Akers is going to have a big role in Houston's offense. I think he's going to have a breakout year. So he definitely knocked out a lot of these positions out of the park, specifically these wide receivers in Ayuk, Wilson, and Brown. But there's a price to be paid for going that in on wide receivers, and you can see what it is right here. So 8 out of 10. Let's keep going. Fantasy is different than reality. It says show bench right below. Oh, okay. Oh, got you. Okay. Look, Rick to the rescue. All right, so let's look at his bench. Tony Pollard, JSN, Caleb Williams, Jake Ferguson, Palmer, Trey Benson, Xavier Legette, or Legette. I can't figure that one out. Rick's normally here to correct me. But Tony Pollard, okay. JSN, I guess he's due for a bigger year. But definitely somebody you want on your bench, right? Caleb Williams, love the decision to get a backup quarterback. Hate the decision to do it with this pick. I mean, trust me, I got a backup quarterback, but I got him with the very second of last pick. I mean, to get another quarterback after getting CJ Stroud with this pick here is a little mind-boggling. And then I love the pick of Trey Benson. I had him queued. I wanted Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson's going to find a way to see the field a lot this year. And I'm really high on him. So then the CW. Oh, this is Rick's team. This is Rick's team. That's why he drafted Caleb. He had to draft Caleb Williams because his name had Caleb Williams in it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I take it back. I knew, yeah, so Rick knows how I feel about Trey Benson. The Caleb Williams thing I get now. Um Oh, okay. I didn't even see your starting roster yet. So let me start from the top. I went straight to your bench on accident. Okay. CJ Stroud, star. Bijan Robinson, star. Alvin Kamara, we'll see. He's been declining in recent years. Michael Pittman Jr., underrated, good player. Zay Flowers, yes. Trey McBride, yes. Deontay Johnson in Carolina, maybe. The Steelers defense, which hasn't been too great as of recently, of course, you got one of the best a future Hall of Famer on the team, but in TJ, but I'm not like crazy about Pittsburgh's defense, but it's also not like a huge issue. I'm just kind of vanilla about it. And then Brandon Aubrey, he's the kicker I actually wanted. Yeah, I think this is a good squad. There's really not a position that you look at and it's a glaring weakness. Alvin Kamara as your RB2, it's like, sure, he could be declining a little bit, but he's still going to play a huge role in that offense. And if he can get back to where he was, I mean, this is a home run pick. This is a guy that just 2 years ago was a top 5 pick. So Trey McBride, love that. Zay Flowers, love that. Michael Pittman Jr. With Anthony Richardson, I think that's good. I guess my only issues with it is I'm not so high on Deontay Johnson as the flex. But we'll see what happens because you may be in a situation later in the year where you can flex a different player. I mean, the roster changes a lot, but overall, I would say I would give this an 8 out of 10. The only reason it's not higher is I'm just not that high on Deontay Johnson in Carolina, but that could come back to, I could be wrong about that. So in the Steelers defense, okay. So every roster, what we're seeing is there's a lot of great, and then there's like 1 or 2 areas where you're like, it could be a little bit better, but that's the name of the game here. And then the opponent you're playing, Anthony Richardson, of course, the projections, not just fantasy projections, but the career projections that he's going to be great. I mean, he was like, his odds to win MVP were like higher than CJ Stroud. It was weird. So we'll see. A lot of good vibes coming out of there. Kyren Williams, good pick. Kenneth Walker stays healthy, great pick. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, and Kyle Pitts, I love it. Deebo Samuel, okay, I like Deebo. The problem with Deebo, though, is it's really boom or bust. I mean, Deebo Samuel will get you less than 10 points 2 weeks in a row, and then he'll get you 40 points. So the consistency's not there, but I could see why he's being flexed. It's a good flex, right? And then Dolphins defense and a good kicker. I think this is probably the best team that I've seen so far. Like I said, Kenneth Walker's got to find a way to stay healthy. He does. And Kyle Pitts has to finally break out. So if Kenneth Walker, doesn't stay healthy and Kyle Pitts doesn't break out, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, the names were cool. But sometimes the names are awesome, but it just doesn't pan out. But I like this team. And then Christian Kirk, Javonte Williams, of course, is the RB1 in Denver. Devin Singletary, the Giants RB1 replacing. What I like about the way Brockway did his pick is he was able to put RB1s on his bench. And you might say, well, it's Denver and it's the Giants, but anytime you can get a player that's getting a 90% snap percent on your team, that's somebody you want on your bench. It doesn't matter if the team sucks or not. I mean, the guy is getting the ball a lot. So, like the bench, Brock Purdy, don't really understand the backup quarterback this high, especially when it's a league with 15 startable quarterbacks. DeAndre Hopkins, I got no problem with this pick at this moment. And then Justin Herbert, what the fuck? Why did he draft 3 quarterbacks? And then Gabe Davis with the last pick. I like the team. I do. I think it's a good bench. Don't understand it very much. I don't know why he has 3 quarterbacks. And Rick, hit that like and subscribe button, everyone. Love you, Kyle. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. And we got Bill in the chat. He said, super late. Got to go out, though. Just know I was here. Thanks, Bill. Kamara is my biggest reach. And then Bill said, got to bounce. I'll watch you back later. Peace out. Party people. Hell yeah, Bill. Happy that you stopped in. And then Nash said, Rick, did you pick Aubrey to mess with Kyle? I want to know the answer to that one, too. Perhaps he did. But yeah, love that pick. All right. Now, Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ramondre Stevenson, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, Njoku, DK Metcalf, Saints defense, and then their kicker. Like this starting squad. I like it a lot. And then Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, Kirk Cousins, and Deshaun Watson. I think this is a good squad. You got a bona fide star, right? Your confidence is 10 out of 10 in 3 of these. Mike Evans has been the definition of consistent. And Njoku it seems like just now starting to. There is a chance Njoku disappoints again, but he had a good rapport with Joe Flacco. So if he can have that same connection with Watson, then he's a good pick. But that has yet to be seen. So as much as I got no problem with starting Njoku, I would start Njoku if I needed to. It's still not that kind of a tier like Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs. I would say it's the one underneath that. DK Metcalf, another one where I feel like Njoku, right? Very good, should be a starter, but how much is Seattle's offense gonna boom this year? And we'll see. I mean, you see here projected 14.7 points, so that kind of tells the story a little bit. Too good to not start, but we'll see if he's good enough to stay a weekly starter. By the middle of the season, it could be Tank Dell that's being flexed, or even Cortland Sutton. And then Race Padilla. So let's see. I love this team. Dak Prescott, Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, Calvin Ridley, the Jets defense, and Jake Bates. Dak Prescott had a great year last year. Doesn't do a lot with his feet, so rushing touchdowns might not be there. They did lose some weapons offensively. Dallas could have a declining year, but he's definitely a starting quarterback. He's not Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen, but he's worthy of starting. Then Travis Etienne led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Jacksonville has come out and said that they wanted to give him less of a workload, that they wanted Tank Bigsby to take some of that load off of his shoulders, but he's still a great running back. But I'm not like crazy about these 2 running backs, but I think they're B+ running backs. Where he went with his A+ was clearly tight end and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, A+, Travis Kelce, A+, and then Devontae Adams and Calvin Ridley. I think Devontae Adams is a B, and then Calvin Ridley is a B, and then Jets defense in the kicker. Terry McLaurin, great pick. Maybe he should be starting. We'll see. New quarterback, rookie quarterback. Raheem Mostert led the NFL in touchdowns. Jaden Daniels. So I love this connection that he has here. Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin. Then J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, the 49ers defense, and Jameson Williams. It'll be interesting to see who he goes with week 1 because the Jets are playing the 49ers. So which defense is he going to start? But overall, I give this team here, I give it an 8 out of 10, and I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I'll give them both. I think they're both an 8 out of 10. Honestly, they're very similar. I think if I had to take one of these teams for the season, it would be this one. So naturally, I'm a little higher on this one. I'll do 8 out of 10, and then I'll stick with my 7.5 here. And then this is the last squad here. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, James Cook, James Conner, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Evan Ingram, Drake London, Jags defense, and the Jets kicker. Mahomes, set and forget. James Cook, he's gonna he had a breakout year last year. James Conner, I don't like this year. Okay, this is why I go running back is because you don't want to have a running back starting week in and week out that's projected around 13 or 12 points. That's not going to cut it. Justin Jefferson, of course, he's a star. Puka Nacua, star, obviously, at wide receiver. He knocked it out of the park. So, quarterback and wide receiver, he nailed it. All right. Evan Ingram, that's like B. Not B+, but that's like a B tight end. Drake London, like this pick here being flex with Kirk Cousins coming in. Drake London's finally going to have somebody that can get him the ball. The Jags defense, not good. And then the Jets kicker. Overall, I would give this team a 7.5. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Jordan Addison, Ezekiel Elliott, Marquise Brown, Zach Charbonnet is good insurance for Kenneth Walker, and then Jerry Jeudy in Cleveland. No backup quarterback, no backup defense, which is fine. But I kind of like the Hollywood Brown pick here with the Chiefs. I don't know. I like the team, but I'm not very high on them. I'm just like, okay. Like if I'm playing this team, I feel good about my chances. And then last but not least, Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Mark Andrews, Devontae Smith, Bengals, Jake Elliott. Now, this is probably the best team that I think I've seen so far. Kyler Murray, he's going to have a good year. Jonathan Taylor, awesome. Saquon Barkley, awesome. Nico Collins, awesome. Malik Neighbors, he should be awesome, but with the quarterback situation, we'll have to wait and see. Mark Andrews, of course, he's great. Devontae Smith, awesome. Bengals defense and Jake Elliott. So overall, Rome Odunze, Aaron Jones on the bench. Great pickup for the bench. Amari Cooper, Zach Moss, great pick. This is probably the best team I've seen. I would give this team an 8.5. I think the highest I've given out is an 8. But 8.5. And then finally, this is my team. Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery. Browns defense, Cameron Dicker, Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed, Bryce Thomas Jr., Jonathan Brooks, Dallas Goedert, Nick Chubb, and Trevor Lawrence. And Crafty said, you should draft whoever is third string behind Rodgers and Tyrod. They'll probably be starting by week 5. Shots fired. Shots fired. Wow, that is brutal. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, you guys can use this to help you out with your draft, or if you're just enjoying it, let me know in the comments what you think of the teams. As always, you guys can follow me on NFL with Kyle. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. More content to come shortly. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next stream.